everyone, it's Nella here with Fleur and Finn. It's going to have to be pretty short because I do have work shortly. And this is a response to BJDAddicts prompt number 19, horror stories. Do you have any Dolly horror stories? And these two are here because they feature heavily in most of them. Mostly her. Fleur went through a lot in the first 2 years of me having her. The horror stories with Fleur actually start the moment I ordered from the company. Myth Doll, if anyone remembers that whole ordeal, kind of dropped off the face of the earth, stopped responding to people's emails, claimed that their PayPal, that they didn't have access to their PayPal, and yet that PayPal stayed open for 2 years. A whole bunch of stuff like that. They also, if you were lucky enough that your doll was made and was shipped, they didn't send you any of the tracking information, so you had no clue until you got a package. Which is what happened with Fleur. So, that's horror story number 1 with Fleur. Unreliable company. Horror story number 2 is completely my fault. It was at I think it was one of the first outdoor meets I'd been to. And I'd only had Fleur for, I don't know, maybe 6 months. And this actually needs a bit of explanation. The city I'm in has a sculpture garden. So it has, in addition to having a huge garden, there's also these beautiful bronze statues everywhere. And because one of the statues looks like a statue in a book in the story I'm writing, I thought it'd be brilliant to pose Fleur with this particular statue. When I say pose, I mean balance precariously Fleur on the statue's shoulder. Yeah, not my smartest idea. So, I finally got the balance just right, because it was very hard because the shoulder was kind of dropped. So I got the balance just right, and Fleur is just sitting there, and she's looking up at the statue with her head kind of turned. And I've pulled away, I've stepped back so I can take the photo when I see her slowly topple backwards. It started off very slowly, and then it was like sudden. And I think I actually cried out to my friend who was at the meet. Either that or I was just really loud because my friend actually came running, saw me on my knees, my new doll with her face turned on the pavement, and both of us were like, no, you know, she's gonna have scratches, her nose is gonna be broken or something. Well, I was very lucky actually, her head cap took all of the damage, so there's just a small abrasion and chip in like the middle of her head cap, but it's really not, I mean, it's always covered by a wig, so it's not a problem for me. Yeah, but that was scary. Other scary thing with Fleur that happened maybe 2 months after that. I was at my family's cottage, and I was staying in the guest room instead of my usual room. And the thing about the bed in the guest room is it has one of those built-in sections for like books. So I put Fleur on that, like on top of, because I was like, well, you know, it's a really rock-steady surface, it's solid wood, and there's carpet on the floor, you know, she'll be fine. Well, she was, until I came back, I don't know, it wasn't later that day, I think it was like the second time I put her up there that this happened. So I went back, and I find Fleur fallen on the carpet, and her ring finger has just popped off. So when I got back into the city, I made a post on my live journal and asked for any suggestions for super glue, for like really good super glue. Which then I promptly bought and used to reattach her finger. As you can see, she no longer has that finger. What happened there was, I brought Fleur with me to the geese sanctuary that I'd gone to with my mom. So we went to the geese sanctuary, and I think we just finished. and I entrusted Fleur to my mom's keeping while I took pictures of some other stuff. And then when I came back, my mom had posed her on this small stone wall. So which on the other side had geese, because there's a geese sanctuary. So I took some pictures of Fleur there, and then I picked her up, and it was right after I picked her up, and I think we were walking to the car when I went, Mom, did you notice, say a finger missing? What? No, Fleur's finger popped off. So, we kind of backtracked and walked around the entrance hoping to find it, but the geese sanctuary is huge. It's a very long walk, and it goes through the woods in some parts, so really, her finger was goodness knows where. I personally believe that it fell inside one of the stone walls, and that the geese took it, because geese do stuff like that. I don't know. So Fleur's had a lot of bad horror stories happen to her. Finn's here because when I tried to... He actually has a horror story too. When I was first taking off his face up, I went and I really apologize for that. That's my alarm going off. It will shut up eventually. I promise. There we go, now it shut up. Finn, of course, came with the default Bumblebee face-up, which is anyone who's ever tried to take off a default Bumblebee face-up knows. They're extremely hard to take off. I have no clue what they use, but it takes forever. So I had gotten some non-acetone nail polish remover. I had been trying to use isopropyl alcohol, but it wasn't getting through anything. It was the strangest thing. It did nothing. It was as if I was just pouring water on the face-up and rubbing. It was doing absolutely nothing. So I got the non-acetone face-up remover, and I was a bit worried because it has a bit of a blue tint. But I went, I'll be careful. That sort of stuff. So I took Finn, and I was in my small bathroom, and I was like, oh, this is working really well, it's actually really coming off, until I got to the eyebrows. Now, I was staying on the eyebrows, just so you'll, clean, rub, and there goes Fleur, losing her wig. So, I got that cleaned off, and I had the eyebrows, I think, about halfway off, when I kind of stared at him, and I went, is it because the light is yellow in here that I see a bit of blue discoloration? Or is this actually going in and dyeing your white resin? So, I washed the head, ran out into the dining room where there's natural light, and went, nope, that isn't me seeing anything. Yes, it is indeed tinting your resin. So I ran back to the washroom and cleaned him off with isopropyl alcohol for, I think, 2 or 3 minutes straight. And then ran him underwater again. And I think he actually still does have a little bit of blue discoloration, just because I have to. That is my only thing for removing face-ups. Yeah. I know, I couldn't find anyone that didn't have a tint, and yeah. But those are my horror stories. So did you know that they haven't really affected my enjoyment of the hobby at all? You'd think Fleur's finger popping off would have scared me a lot more than it did, but I was just kind of like, oh, your finger popped off, don't you? And my cat's back. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. Bye, everyone. I have to get going to work.